Alright, guys, I'm back. And yeah, like I said, I have nothing else better to do, or like the title says. So, I was getting kind of tired. I was like, I don't want to stream, but you know what? Like I said, I have nothing else better to do, so it's probably going to be a pretty chill stream. I'm just going to be listening to music. If you need anything from me, let me know. But yeah, I'm just going to be listening to music and charting what I see for the day. So I might not talk that much. So this was the trade TGR took today. Um, we'll take note of it. We had a sweep. You could maybe honestly mark it out like that, but and then you can see we rebalance back to equilibrium. And TGR waited for reaction out of this. Um, Eventually this played out, but not till way later. Guys, real question. Do you guys think that I should play music on stream? And if so, am I gonna run into issues with YouTube? Because I want to so bad. Let's ask ChatGPT. Alright, so I guess I can't. It's probably not worth it. Because if all it did was give me a copyright warning, then I don't think I would really care, if it was just a copyright warning. But if there's actual consequences for it, like I could get my channel permanently banned, like it's not worth playing music. But I really want to. I don't know. So one thing that's kind of cool is we can take a 15-second change and stay out of this. That's the 2022 Plus model. Now there we don't actually get an obvious one, besides the fact that we actually retest it right here. Now this is really cool. What's the song I want to listen to right now? Um, what's the name of it? I can't remember. Yo, what up, Vilmos? Sorry, bro. This has been more of a chill stream, so I've been just listening to music and stuff. Just found your page a few days ago, and I have to say, I love your style. I love learning from you. I don't know why, but I like you better than most guys on YouTube. Dude, thank you, man. Yeah. Um, I could not agree more. Most of the time, like, here, let me sit up. Most of the time, like, well, not most of the time. Like most everything I do, way I do it and the why I do it the way I do it is because no one else was doing it this way. And it just the way that I wanted to do it fit my personality, and no one else had that at the time, right? Or at all. And so, if I was like, well, there's no one else making content that kind of fits my style, I kind of have to be the first. So I appreciate that. Um, yeah, back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, was gonna listen to music. All right, let's just play this song. I don't care. But very nice 2022 model. And we have a change in state of delivery that's just perfectly hovering all above all of these triple equal low, or not equal lows, equal highs. And so this is like the market is basically, is it letting me turn the volume down? It's basically enticing people to go long, right up into our key level, which is the 15-second change in state, hovering perfectly above these triple equal highs. So this is inducement. We enter on the 15-second change in state. Obviously, guys, much easier done in hindsight and noted in hindsight, but that's why we backed this, to get better. So yeah, liquidity sweep, break of structure. Alright, I'm actually switching the song. And guys, I might not talk that much. Let's see. What song do I want to listen to? I don't even know, bro. Alright, I found the song I want to listen to. Alright, here we go. So yeah, very nice liquidity sweep. I'm actually curious to see if this was a dealing range. Oh my gosh. Whoa. How beautiful is this? New day opening gap. Aligned right with our inducement. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Wow. Yo, that's actually unbelievable. That's incredible. For value gap partition 2022 for value gap. Holy. Let's actually turn this down one. Hmm. Oh, you know, but what there was is there was a come on, load. Oh my gosh. No way, bro. Bro. No way. The fair value gap before the dump was in the fair value gap partition. Oh my gosh. Goldbach is insane. What? Oh my gosh. Guys, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. That's insane, bro. Man, every time you get sad or like you just feel like hopeless or like you want to give up on trading, just backtest. Just backtest for a little bit. Within an hour, you're gonna blow your mind and you're gonna be like, wow, trading's the most precise thing in the world. No, but that's insane, bro. Like, how? How are the markets that precise? Right before the tariffs get announced, too. The frick? How? You guys don't, whoever doesn't know what I'm talking about, alright? You guys remember that Goldbach video I made about how, first let's mark out um, let's mark out how this was 2022 model 15-second change and stayed out of it. First, let's mark that out. And then I'll go into why this is so crazy, right? Because if you guys don't really understand anything about my short form videos I've made, you're not gonna understand that. Maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. Either way, still crazy. So let me finish marking this out first. So we swept liquidity, we broke structure to the downside. This was the trade TJR took, but he entered off of the reaction. And basically, you can enter right at that fair value gap, or you can wait for a flow state off of that fair value gap. And so you can see that occurs right here, inducing these highs into this new day opening gap. That's insane. That's insane. Oh yeah. Actually, let's not even include. Actually, yes, we will include the end dog, but Let's just get the screenshot in. Oh my gosh, a lot of people. Hey guys. Yo, what up, Gary? Hey, called the entry 23,570 before the market opened. Imagine if you had riding that all the way down. I know, bro. I was thinking about it like all day, and I was like, it was such an obvious 2022 model on the 1 minute. And now combine that with the fact that that was perfectly aligned in the fair value gap partition on Goldbach. Bro, if we had just had one micro order at that fair value gap, we'd have made like $8,000. The power of trading is incredible, bro. May I ask you something? I've been doing trading stuff in crypto for 4 to 5 years. I love it, but it's really hard for me because every time I start to get a little bit more invested in these stuff, I get lost because there's so much information and everyone's saying different things. Do you have any advice for what to do to focus on starting to trade more deeply? Because I always get lost. Here's what I'll say. All right, so I was listening to music. I took out my AirPods. So here's what I'll say. Right, trading is a very personal journey, and when I was listening to everyone else tell me how to trade, that's when I felt the most lost. And once I just started going into the charts myself and really started developing my own relationship with the market and learning from stop listening to all these other gurus and mentors and just go into the charts and actually look at the charts themselves and learn from the charts themselves. Once I started doing that, um, I felt like I learned so much. I learned so much. And so what I'd recommend is you don't need Forex Replay, you don't need fancy backtesting software. Just go on the charts, observe what you do know, whether that be you understand how to trade an inversion for value gap, whether that be you understand how to trade the 2022 model, and then build off of it. Go into the charts and learn from what you observe, and take notes, and then say, okay, why did this one work? Why didn't this one work? What happened today? What happened this time? What happened that time? And then just keep going down that rabbit hole, and that's the best way to go because then you're going to develop what personally makes sense to you rather than what someone else is telling you. This is the strategy that works, and this is the what's going to make sense, and this is what's right for you. Instead, no, just go into the charts yourself and let the markets show you what works, and then evolve that into your own personal style. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'd recommend. All the way from SA was backtesting from 1 a.m. Caught that short today using Goldbach. Bro, that's insane, man. You caught the short. You caught the fair value gap trade that we were just backtesting. Dude, that's insane, bro. That's insane. Oh my gosh. Crazy, bro. All right. But yeah, we had a 2022 gap here. Liquidity sweep, break structure. 1 minute 2022 gap. 15-second change in state. And then a nice end dog overlapping with this entry, which is kind of cool. But this isn't the cool trade. This is just like the appetizer dish for what happened next, bro. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it. It's just insane. Yeah, so this is the appetizer. So, induce these triple equal highs into the change in state, and then delivery lower. Yeah, guys, this is just the appetizer. Get ready, because this 2022 gap, right before the tariffs got announced, above every single true open, it like seeing that happen and looking at the charts and observing that happen and saying, wow, that really did just happen as tariffs got announced. That's like, it's unbelievable, bro. I don't know. It's just crazy unbelievable. All right. Koi sweep, break structure. So I'm gonna be listening to music again, and I'm gonna chill out again. Sorry about. I kind of got a little less chill there. I'm gonna go back to being chill. All right. So yeah, pretty cool how that New Day opening gap aligned with everything. Koi sweep, break structure. And you can clearly see how this is A, M, D, right? So I call this the 2022 plus model, where you take a 2022 fair value gap and you enter on a flow state out of that 2022 gap. So we take the aligned time frame change in state out of a 2022 model. So I call this 2022 plus. And this occurs right at 10:48, right before the macro too. Bro, you know what's crazy though? This actually was right going into the macro. That's actually bizarre. Like, if you really think about how precise these markets are, it gets a little creepy. Because we can go in here. Let's get rid of this and this. Check this out. We were above the true week open, first of all. This is not the important part. I'm just going one true open at a time. So the true week open was above Monday at 18 o'clock. That's the true week open. We can drag this over. By the way, guys, that was nice confirmation for the low of this buy model here. Okay, so there's Monday at 18 o'clock. Actually, let's actually just mark it out as 18 o'clock. All right, so this is the entree right here, guys. This is where things get really cool. So 18 o'clock. So now let's go find the true day open, right? What's the true day open? Midnight, right? So here's midnight. Looks like it was right. Zoom in. Here. Wait, no. Nope, that's 1:30. Okay, it was right here. So there was midnight. We got the true day open, the true week open. And you guys will see where I'm going with this in just a second. Bro, it's gonna get crazy, bro. Then, what's next? True session open. For New York session, this is gonna be 7:30. So you can see that was right there. And then let's drop down again. Okay, next. So we're above midnight, we're above 7:30. Now we have 10. This is the fourth quarter of New York session, right? So the true open of the fourth quarter is going to be 10:52. All right? 10:52 closes right here. Okay. So now we're above the true week open, the true day open, the true session open, and the true 90-minute open. Okay. So now what happens next? We get, let's delete this. Let's delete this. We get the macro, right? The macro happens 10:50 to 11:10. All right? So that's our macro for basically the last hour of what? From every 50 until 10, that's a macro, right? So this is a macro. And guys, once again, it gets crazier, bro. It gets crazier. Like, this is genuinely maybe one of the most insane trades. Because what happens next, right? So we have very obvious accumulation, manipulation, distribution. What happens here? Let's go drop down to a 30-second chart. We get a liquidity sweep. So there's a sweep. We get a break of structure. This was also on the 1 minute. This was also on the 15-second. On all time frames. And then take the displacement leg, mark out equilibrium, and let's actually just mark out this whole entire fair value gap like this. Oh, and now things are getting crazy, right? So this is a 2022 model on both the 30-second, the 1 minute. Actually, yeah, on the 30-second, the 1 minute, and on the 15-second. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just mark it out on the 30-second. We have a liquidity sweep, break of structure, 2022 gap. We can mark this out pretty obviously on the 1 minute. You can clearly see. So for those who don't see it, on the 1 minute, here's a sweep, here's a break of this low. We can also mark it out like this. And then we have our fair value gap. We actually come back to equilibrium of this entire thing. And note where the 2022 gap was, guys. It was above all of our true opens. You guys swallow that pill yet? Welcome to the Matrix, bro. It's crazy. So accumulation, manipulation, 2022 fair value gap. Oh, we forgot the most important part. And then we go to our gold block dealing range. We sweep liquidity into the high of the dealing range, break structure, and the fair value gap. Guys, the fair value gap for the 2022 model forms none other than in the fair value gap partition. Bro. You guys doesn't it just make you just get chills? Like, what? Crazy, man. That's insane, Shaney. You could have been a millionaire. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't have enough energy for this. No one's even here anymore, so I'm done. I'm done talking. Bro, what the heck, dude? You have to admit that that's kind of crazy. So, here's the dealing range high. What kind of, this is the 81. Bro, just insane, man. That's so crazy, bro. Words can't describe how insane that is. Like how bizarre is that? Like people think that that's random, bro. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, if you can't tell, I'm kind of losing energy. I tried to make it entertaining, but I'm losing energy, so I'm going back to being chill. Sorry if you guys think that's boring, but I don't have the energy. No wonder it's been playing the same song. It's been on loop. What? Okay. I actually want to switch the song. Alright. Here, let's just mark it out like this. Crazy. You know what I'm curious about? It would be insane if we went above what? It's like a so if 1052. Let's do the math on this. 1052 and a half. That's the true open for the 90-minute cycle. Take 22.5, divide it by 4, add this to 52.5. So 1058. This is just a thought. I don't know. I like to just think about things. Yeah, by the time 1058 happened, we were already lower. But yeah, it goes to show like sometimes time and price align. You don't need to wait for that microscopic true open to form. But I was kind of curious if it did. All right. How cool is this? So accumulation all through here. And then distribution. Wow. Honestly, we don't need to include that. Crazy, bro. Let's just mark this whole thing out like this. Nah, it's fine. Okay. So this was a 2022 model on the 1 minute. Obviously, it was aligned with Goldbach and quarterly theory, but at the end of the day, it was just a regular 2022 model. At 1054. How crazy would that be if that was a 369 time? Okay. So yeah, 1054 2022 model. 1 minute. We can look and see if there was like a 5 or 15-second change and stayed out of it, but what up, Medbuck? Well, Nasdaq took a poop. You make any money today trading? Yes, bro. I made $30 on personal. For as far as prop account, right now I only have the top step, and that thing is up. That thing's up 600 today. So yeah, I made $30. Well, I should have made 50, but I did it just for fun trade. So it's okay. But yeah, basically Medbach Nas took a giant poop, and it's because there's 100% tariff on China. Oh wow, there's a lot of people that said a lot, and I haven't responded. Made 70K off that drop, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, all you had to do was just instead of take profit, put a trailing stop. And that's why I preach like I love trailing stops so much because you can like if you know that we have crazy momentum like that, you could just plop in a trailing stop instead, and you could end up making like way more. You know, we should all watch Scooby Doo. Did you make money today using this knowledge? I made money today taking a different knowledge that I've learned through backtesting. It wasn't this exact model, but it was Phoenix. And yeah. Well, a lot of people said a lot. Alright, I'm just going back to being chill again. Oh, can you tell me in a few words what is Goldbach? Yeah, so Vilmos, are you still here? Vilmos, are you still here? So basically, you probably already know this, but the market moves in A, M, and D. Vilmos, are you still here? Right? So the market chops or moves around like sideways, basically waiting for enough people to enter the market. These people get manipulated out. Obviously, it's never going to be just this simple. Like sometimes it's going to look like this, where um, we go sideways, manipulate the high, and then go lower. But at the end of the day, it's all AMD, right? So basically, um, you want to frame AMD inside of a dealing range, a Goldbach range. You want to frame AMD inside of a dealing range. So you want the high of the dealing range to form here, and then the low to form at your target. So it's basically a template for AMD. That's what it is. And basically what it's saying is we should sweep liquidity into the high of the dealing range. And then rejection block will form here. Break of structure with a change in state of delivery will form here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, break of structure with a change in state will form somewhere in here. Then a fair value gap will form. And then expansion to the opposing end. So liquidity sweep, change in state, which is also an order block. Change in state and order block are the same. And then here's that fair value gap. Fair value gap. And then opposing end. You see what I'm saying? So basically, it just allows you to have a template for AMD. And it gives you different partitions for each thing. So it's like, yo, the rejection block should form here. The OB or change in state of delivery should form here. The fair value gap should form here. And honestly, past that, everything else is not that helpful. But then at that point, I mean, it might be helpful. I'm still learning. And then we go to the other end of the dealing range. So here you can see this is exactly what happened here, right? So we frame AMD within our dealing range, accumulation, manipulation of the high, break a structure. Um, we probably have the lower time frame change in state of delivery right there, if I had to guess. Yeah, so basically we had a rejection block there. We have an OB here. We form a fair value gap. We use the fair value gap, and then we expand. So in this case, the OB actually formed on the right side of the curve. But you get what I'm saying. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Basically, simplified down. Market moves in 3 phases. Accumulation, meaning people who don't know what they're doing enter the market. Manipulation, one side of the market gets taken out, people get induced into moving and entering the market in one direction, and then expansion to the other side of wherever people entered. But it's never going to be like straightforward and simple, right? It's never gonna. Oh, well, you're probably thinking, oh, well, if it was that simple, everyone would make money. It's not that simple, bro. The AMD, it's going to be like sometimes it's gonna be hidden, like it's not always gonna be obvious, right? Sometimes it might take, like someone might think AMD is going to the downside here, um, but actually this is all high resistance right now, and then we get AMD to the upside. So basically, AMD runs inside hidden dealing ranges. That's what it is. Thanks. It made sense. I'll look into it. Yeah, bro. Glad I could help. Alright, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I'll be right back.